Hello, in this video I'm going to be using Solid Edge 2025 or Solid Edge X, and we're going to be looking at family parts, how we can control sizes using our family parts tools, and also how we can make it so if somebody creates a new family, the new item is going to follow certain rules using the equation editor using the absolute command. This is similar to the if command, but instead of just two options, it allows us to do a start option, several middle options, and an end option. So if you're following along this, first thing we'll do is just make a base solid. So we're just going to choose extrude command, choose the top plane. I'm going to go to the rectangle command, start drawing my rectangle. I'm going to go 500, choose a tab key to get to the second value, 600, and then press enter twice. That will stop us getting the rotation on there. Okay, at this point I'm going to just press the escape. I'm going to double click on this one and I'm going to go and change this to W, and I'm going to change this one to H. So we're just changing the name at the top on there. We're not doing anything with the formula yet, or actually change the plan. We will do a little change of the formula. We're going to make that one equal. We're going to click on that to get that value, and then we're going to add 100 onto that one. That's going to give us what I class as a hybrid color dimension, which means that that one is being driven by that dimension. So we've got three colors. Blue is driven, red is driving, and then that one is one that's being controlled by an equation. Once we've done that, we're going to close the sketch. And we're just going to move our mouse down a little bit, type 3 and enter. It kind of asks us which way we want to go, so we need to do a left click just to confirm, and then finish the command by clicking finish, or right click is a better way of doing that. I see a lot of users click cancel, press escape, don't have to, just go straight into the next command, don't worry about going onto there. So we're going to the hole command, choose this top face to place our hole. I've still got the 10mm default, so I'm going to place the, go down in this corner to go and place that dimension. Place the hole, even not the dimension. Next thing we're going to do a dimension, so we can choose smart dimension from the top, or we can press escape and then use our we can use our kind of right click menu to get to certain options on here. Okay, so notice when I right click I'm not getting the menu, so if you've got a newer version of Solid Edge, there's certain things that may be turned on and may be turned off. So just double check that you've got this option, show context toolbar, make sure that those options are on. That will make sure that we get the appropriate options. But for this, we're going to use our smart dimension. We're going to click there and there. I'm going to go 30 from the left-hand edge, and we're also going to do 30 from the right-hand edge. If it comes up with an error, it means that you're still trying to create another dimension. It means that you've clicked distance between by instead of smart dimension. So just right-click and then go and place another dimension. So we're going to close sketch on that. I'm going to click finish because that's going to automatically go through next, which is the default setting. If you haven't got that set as your default setting, you can just go to extend and make sure that's on through next. What you can do quite often, people, if you go into a command and don't finish a command, and then exit the command, that will set that as the default, which can be quite useful. Okay, so next we're going to create another hole on the same face. But this time we're going to draw a circle by center point to be our pitch circle diameter, bolt circle diameter, whatever you want to class that as. We're going to go 400 on that. Notice mine's got auto dimension. If that's not set, we need to go to auto dimension in IntelliSketch option up here, and then choose the second option on there. Also worth going and turning on our silhouette point at that point as well, just in case we do need that. That's turned off, but I find I use that quite a lot. So what I'm now going to do is go back to the hole. So this is kind of like the place hole circle up here where we've got our pattern, circular pattern, and we've got our mounting emboss in there as well, obviously grayed out because we're not creating that. And then we're going to snap that to that top point. Notice we've got that silhouette point. We don't have to turn this into construction. As soon as we click close sketch, we'll see that turn to construction automatically. Our extent is going to be defined automatically, and then we're going to finish that on there. Okay, those of you that don't use the variable table, you can right click, third from the bottom, we've got variables. This is then going to open. If you've got a second screen, you can drag onto the second screen and leave it there, and this will update. As your models get more complex, this being open is going to slow everything down a little bit. So If you're doing simple models, it's great. If you're doing less simple models, not quite so great on there. Okay, so here we've got our kind of option on here. So we've got our protrusion. I want this hole to stay in relation to that one. So I'm going to put equals, and then what I tend to do is just kind of click on the value in grey on there to get that to go across. It's not always going to be simple. If it's simple, we could just type it in, but in this instance, it might be a little bit more text, so it's easier just to do that. And then we're going to go minus 100 on there. And we'll see this 400 dimension is now grayed out because it's being controlled by the formula. If we delete the formula, that will then become editable again on there. So we've got that on there. So let's have a look then. So we've got this variable on here. So if we go up to protrusion 1, choose dynamic edit and go and change this 500 to say 750. That's going to change. Our PCD hole is going to change. That's going to change. So we're pretty good on there. So let's just quickly change that back to our original one on there. Okay, so I'm going to go and change that back to 500. You'll notice when you're trying to select these, you can kind of select it in different kind of places. Notice because I'm doing a dynamic edit, it's letting me select that edge. So just make sure you're over the dimension when you're editing that on there. Okay, so next, before we add any more intelligence, we're going to go to our family of parts. So we're looking for this icon. This might be kind of like unpinned on here. You might be in a different option such as feature library, so we're looking for that icon on the side. If it's over this side, what you find you can do, once you've pinned it, and you've got these as tabs on the top, you can drag this tab, and this will move that one independently, and you can go and kind of group it up into different kind of places. But I'm going to keep this just in this group by dragging it to the middle icon on there, and that's then going to keep that in the group on there. To turn this into a family of parts, we're going to click the one icon. We've now got options that we can do as well, which obviously this has got some extra options that we've now got in 25, but we're not looking at that today. So if we go to new, this is going to give us our members. Just bring this to the middle of the screen. I'm going to go 500. That's the one we've got. And they're going to go 750 as another new one, 1000, and then another one on there. Kind of like let's do about 4, just to have it a bit more realistic of what we've got on there. Okay, so I'm going to change that back to 500 because that's the one that we've got, and I'm going to click apply. So you have to click apply for all the changes to apply. Things to worth noting: family of parts, everything kind of rebuilds. So we do have to be careful when we're doing the mirror command. When we use these fast and smart, we want to use fast as much as we can. Sometimes we have to use smart because we have to use the more like the way it's created the feature to create the pattern rather than just copying it straight across. So just be aware, if you end up using smart on any features, this will slow down switching between members. It's just because the software is doing a lot more work when it's doing that smart option on there. Okay, so let's have a look at these patterns then. So we're going to have a pattern on the bottom, which is going to be controlled by our variables over here. And we're going to have a whole pattern on here that is going to change depending on the width of the part. So it won't be controlled by the variables, it will just change depending on the width of the part. So first we're going to choose a pattern command. The default setting in 2025 is this one here for the quick pattern, but I want to go and do something with a sketch and I want to make sure it's constrained myself. So I want to do a rectangular, and I'm going to do it as a sketch pattern, and I'm going to select this kind of face. Actually, I've selected that wrong, so I need to select the whole. Whole thing going to appear on there. We can then green tick or right mouse button. That's going to ask us for our plane. I want to make sure we've got the green edge selected at the bottom, just so the orientation is nice. And then what it's going to do, it's going to ask us to draw the profile that we want. So we can always use the prompt bar at the top here to show what we're doing. So if we go on there, and I'm going to go on there, and I'm going to drag that down to there. I'm then going to go to my horizontal vertical command and link this midpoint to the coordinate system. And once you do that, it kind of comes out the sketch. So I've just pressed escape, and if we click back on the black profile, that's going to give us our options on here that we want. So I need to set that to 5 and 1. You might find those values will be different to start off with, so you might end up with a load of dots on here. So just set those to 5 and 1. So we want 5 items on the 500 version on there. Once we've done that, we can close our sketch and then right click to finish, and that will show that feature on there. If your base reference planes do stay on, sometimes they might do, just turn them off by clicking the little eye symbol on there to get rid of those. Okay, so now we need to go and change this to the 750 version. So change to the 750 and click apply. Nothing's changed because we haven't defined any sizes on the newer items. So if we can click, we can go to the profile in there, and actually if we go to there and go to dynamic edit, that's the best option. That's going to give us that dimension on there. So if we hover over that dimension so it goes orange, and then come down the bottom here, and we can go add variable. That's going to go and add that variable into there. The one of the patterns is not quite so easy. So what I'm going to do for that one, I'm going to right click, choose variables. We looked at this earlier, but the one thing that you probably find is that your variables will probably look like this, where mine look like this. So I've chosen this little button here for structured view, which is going to show these exactly where they are. So as you get a very large model, it becomes very hard to understand which variable is which unless you've renamed them all. But we've now got our pattern, and we can just highlight that, and we can click the little button down here, add variable. That's going to add this into our table, and we can close out of our variable table again by clicking the right cross in the top right corner. So what we're going to have, we're going to go up for every size, we're going to go up 2 holes on here. So the best thing to do on here is to go to our edit table. So we've got all these values that we can go and change. You can also see we can go and change the material for the different items. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and change these to match the numbers that we've created at the top first. And we know that one should be 5. Next one should be 7. The 1000 should be 9. And the 1250 should be 11 on there. Once we've done that, we can select OK. What's always good to do is kind of, if you've got a lot of them, just go and check the top one. Make sure that looks OK. Yep, so we've got 1250, we've got 11, we can see in the corner what we've got on there, so that's good. I'm going to change that back to the 500 and click apply. Most likely if the smallest one and the biggest one work, the other ones should, in theory, work on the inside. Okay, so next we're going to go make sure we're on our home tab. I don't know how I ended up on the simulation tab. What we're going to do, we're going to choose our pattern command again. It's going to remember this setting, which is nice. And then we're going to go to rectangular, and we're going to choose this hole as our feature for us to go and select. Right click or green tick to accept. Choose the same plane. And then what we're going to do, we're going to choose the center, which will be the coordinate system, and then we're going to go to the feature. And then we're going to set our count on this one. I'm just going to go with 10. You can press 10 and tab. And then this arrow, just make sure this little kind of blue arrow that's on the screen is going to the left, and then left click to confirm that direction. We are doing a 360, so it doesn't matter, but if we did change it to the option here for a partial circle, that would matter because that's the direction that will go on there. So once we've done that, we can close our sketch and finish, and we've got our circular pattern. So we could go into that circular pattern and go and make that change per version, but if we end up adding more and more versions, we can end up making a mistake. So what we want that to go and change depending on the size, based on the size that we do. So what we're going to do on there, we're going to go and build up a little equation for that. So if we right click and go to our variables, and if we go to our pattern, and we're going to go to the formula option in there, and we're going to kind of link this to the width as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create, so if it's say less than 600, we're going to have our 10. So we're going to put equals absolute, so this is going to give us absolute value based on some kind of input. And then we're going to do 2 open brackets, and then this is going to be 10, so this is the value that's going to come up with. And then we're going to put the star symbol, and then we're going to do another open brackets, and it's going to be W for width. I think we need to put a space either side of this if I remember right. So space, W space, and then we're going to use less than, so that's down next to the M button on the keyboard. And then we said this is going to be, say, Let's go less than and equal to. So we can use equal to 600. And then we're going to close brackets. Okay, and then next we're going to specify or. So when we do a or, so if we do a middle one, we need to specify the two limits. So this is going to be, say, above 600 and less than 1,000. So, but we're going to do these as separate ones. So we're going to open our bracket. We're going to type 20. So this is the number that we're going to have, and then we'll have 30 above 1,000, for instance. Okay, and then we're going to do star again. Open bracket, space, W, space. And then we're going to use the more than button. And this is 600. And then we'll choose click close brackets. But this one needs to be like 2. So if it's between that and, so we're going to use the and. And then we're going to do open brackets, space, W, space. And then we're going to use less than, not comma. And we said this was going to be 1,000. Actually, let's do less than and equal to 1,000. I'm just going to grab this, make this a little bit bigger, make it a little bit easier. If it comes up with an error, it means it's kind of entered it, but it's not going to do it, but it's still going to allow us to go back in. Okay, and then we're going to close our bracket on there. Okay, I'm just checking this. I'm going to just put another bracket in there. It seems like I've missed that one on there as well. Okay. Okay, so so our first one is this one, so less than 600. It's going to give us 10 holes. Our next one is more than 600 and less than or equal to 1,000 is our second one. We could then do a third one that's say 1,000 to 1,500, another one that's 1,500 to 2,000, but I'm just going to do a third one now. So I would be tempted to, if I was going to do that one, I would just copy and paste, and just change the three values, the value for the holes, the value for the from, the value from the to. But I want to go for the last one. So the last one is actually going to be very similar to the first one, but we're going to go or, open brackets, so we're going to go 30 on this one, so 30 star, open brackets, space, W, space. And this one is going to be more than 1,000. And this is where I'm not sure on the brackets, so I'm going to do 3 brackets and press enter. And then we're going to have to do a little check and kind of figure out where I've missed the brackets. So I've opened, so I've got 3 opens there, 2 closes. After the 600, open before the 20, open, close. So it looks like I'm missing one here. Okay, that's it. So just making sure we've got the full open and close on all of those. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, before we go back into the model, I'm just going to kind of double check. So if we go to 750, is our 10 here going to change to 20? Yep. If we go to 1100, is that going to change to 30? If I change that to 999, what's that going to give us on there? That's going to give us our 20. If I change that to 1,000, that's going to take us to our 30. Oh no, it's more than 1,000, so 1,001. Okay, so that's given us those correct. Always set that back to your original value though. It's always a good idea to keep that original value, because that's the value that is being overridden. So we're going to leave that as it is. That's good. Okay, so that's a good little value. What I'll do as well, I'll also go and copy that. That will be in the description in case you haven't already spotted that. So you can go and copy that in if you're not able to get that exact. Okay, so what we're going to do, so now I'm going to change that to 1250 and then click apply. You can see we've got the correct pattern. And we haven't had to add any more variables on there. It's all done. It's all done via that one. This is really nice if you do go in and add another one. So if I go into here and add a 925 on there. So I've got my 925. I'm going to go and change that to 925. That's going to say, so let's go 8 on there. But then the value of the holes is going to be automatic. So if I change that to 925 and click OK, we're going to have the 20 holes on that version because that's the size that we've got on there. Okay, that's it for that one. Hopefully that's really useful. There will be another video. We're going to have a look at suppressing features and stuff as well, but it's quite long, so I'm going to leave that one where that one is, and we will jump back on with a slightly different one to look at the other expressions, equations that we can use. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you've learned something. Thank you very much.